71. Okay.
Yeah.
That's nice. Okay. Hello, everybody.
Hello.
To the second marketing meeting. Let's get it under 1 hour, right? Because we have to, otherwise recording stops.
That's right.
Please write yourself that you're attending. So we'll do the notes as last time. If anybody else wants to do the minutes, please let me know after the meeting. Then we'll kind of, once the meeting gets published, we'll do the minutes after the video, after rewatching the video. Again, let's keep the ideas open. Let's be open for ideas. Let's try to not talk how to do it, but why to do it. Let's also be on the topic, which means we are not here to fix Nix in this meeting. We are here to talk how we can market and which market and where to market Nix. Like we can mention, but let's not dive too much into the topic, right? And yeah, Nix should be mainstream. How do we do this? Are you all seeing the agenda?
Yes.
Yeah, awesome. There are two things I put up to the top, which are kind of important in terms of because we need to discuss them, like because I would like to implement them by the next meeting. And one of them is governance page. So that's the topic number one. And basically this is more of an announcement. I finalized it. I'm not happy how it is, but it's better than before. So please check the PR and give me the comments and I'll implement them. And the second one I want to talk, which is the most important one. This is the only, from all the pages I want to rework, this is the only one I was lost, that I didn't know what to do. And basically the landing page. Just to remind, this is the landing page this is before we will actually do the big redesign and everything. So we just need to be better than we are now. Right, so you can actually, if you don't know, because it's actually nice to also have it open nixos.org and see how it is. So you can see that we have on the left and the right, we have like the Nix and NixOS section right now. It only talks about NixOS. So the idea is to keep these the same, left and right. But maybe change, not talk what is Nix, but more like why you want to use it or what are your benefits. And this is where I got stuck, because then I have to answer what is Nix or what is NixOS. So I have my ideas, but it's like that's only my ideas, right? And I'd like maybe somebody else to take over now and share his ideas, what should be on the front page. At least, but maybe from this perspective of what are the features of Nix, because I wanted to get rid of the about pages, to kind of include the about pages inside the front page, which is where we talk about these features. I can list them if you want, and we can talk one after another, but
I mean, the problem with that is that the about pages are quite a bit longer than the front page, presumably. So you may still want to have a page or multiple pages where you go into more detail about various aspects.
Oh, yeah. That definitely. But I would say, like looking at the about page and comparing the two because there are two about pages. One is about Nix and the other one is about NixOS. And they are quite similar, like certain aspects, right? Because it's reproducibility, rollbacks, and all of this. And then so this is one aspect. Like there's things that are basically the same from Nix and NixOS. Should we list all of those features, or should we just focus on certain part, right? Which we think is more important than the other. We can talk criteria what is more about this now. So these are hard questions. I'm not saying that they're easy.
I added another point to the agenda, a little bit down, to get closer to the point where we know how to present Nix and NixOS. For example, on the landing page, we should define which is our audience or which audience to focus on.
Yeah, definitely. This should actually be already discussed now, I would say, as well. Because if you know the audience, you know what you more know.
Yes, what they want to do, actually.
Yeah, I think there was some discussion on this course. I think, Ilko, you said that the audience, maybe you can just take it over and expand your idea.
Yeah, so I posted that the audience, or the primary audience that we probably want to focus on, you might disagree with that, is that developers and DevOps people. So people who are interested in reproducible build environments for their projects, or people who want to deploy configurations to the cloud or to physical machines or to whatever, want to build stuff in a reproducible way. So our primary audience wouldn't be, this was in the context of whether we should have a graphical installer. Our primary audience wouldn't be, say, desktop Linux users. We're not trying, at least at this point, we're not trying to beat Ubuntu or Mint Linux.
So to recap, you just to make sure that if somebody then rewatches this and from the video because they are listening, you're not saying we're not going not to do desktop. We're gonna still do desktop, but we're just gonna not put it straight on the front page.
Yeah. Right.
Can I ask you what developers can be anything almost? What did you mean by developers? What's developers in your sense?
Well, that can be almost any kind of developer because Nix is very heterogeneous. In fact, that's kind of one of the main selling points of Nix, is that if you have complex systems that depends on things in different languages, then Nix is your solution.
Mm-hmm.
If you're writing something in one language, say Rust, then you're probably happy just sticking with Cargo. But almost any real-world system ends up with dependencies in other languages, and then these per language package managers don't really cut it anymore.
So we are, in one sense, I would say that we are almost in the same boat as Bazel, because they are not for simple projects. They're only for complex ones. That makes sense?
Yes, so there's a lot of overlap with Bazel, but I think Nix is probably better at provisioning lots of external components. This is where Nix packages comes in. So you have this giant set of packages that you can use right away, and yeah. And it's not just, and then it goes to the second audience. You can then take that thing that you've built and you can deploy it into production. You can use the same language as your configuration language for your cloud environment or whatever.
Okay, so we're targeting
It's basically Nix as the universal build language / configuration language.
Okay.
Does this make sense? does it make sense to my 5 minutes elevator pitch of Nix is imagine npm or bundler or whatever is in Python world, but for everything for your project. Does it make sense to start like from there to explain?
Yeah. I mean, maybe you want to have a few sort of little use cases, and one of those would be, so you have this complex project, and it's always a pain in the ass to deal with all these heterogeneous dependencies, and yeah, Nix allows you to do that. But I think that should probably be sort of one of the stories. I mean, maybe so you probably have like on the Rust homepage where it talks about a couple of selling points. We can have a couple of different selling points.
Mm-hmm.
So another one would be reproducibility, that sort of thing.
I would even say that reproducibility is the thing that actually kind of distinguishes us from all the others. That's like looking at everybody else, this is what we do especially good. I mean, it's a hard problem, so it's not that we're doing it awesome, and you still have to, package things in Nix, but once you do it, things are easy. If that makes sense?
Yeah.
And I think this is even like looking at Nix or NixOS, like on the front page, or even at developers or DevOps. This is like the silver line, like the story. This could be the story of our front page. Like we are about reproducibility, and of course you mentioned maybe reproducibility, but you then talk more also about what are the benefits from this, because they might not be apparent to everybody.
Right.
I think a good word is reliability or reliable.
Yeah.
A reliable package manager and a reliable operating system. Because it's reproducible always.
Right.
I mean, you can spin this like relying is it's the outcome of being reproducible, and there are many others, right? And we should all mention them all, or not all. I would, though, just sticking to the topic of audience, I would expand the developers. And I mean, yes, we're targeting developers. Yes, we're targeting NixOS, but we are primarily targeting the beginners of Nix and NixOS, right? I think that makes it clear, especially on the front. And actually, we should target those who don't know Nix on the landing page, right? I mean, does anybody disagree with this? I mean, or agree, or
different? Yeah, sure. Opinion? I mean, the people who know it don't really care about the landing page to begin with. Yeah.
Exactly. So, the landing page. The purpose of landing page should be to, if somebody is skeptical, kind of give them this. Please try it. It's easy enough to try it. Or
they should think it's amazing or something like that. I can't do this with any other package manager also. We should really show why Nix is better than other package managers.
Okay, so there are a few things, like this is hard to do very quickly, I would say. Like it's like we cannot say it, like even if you start saying it with the message, it's very hard to do it. And like either you sound like you're bragging in a sense, like, or talking, just trying to win with few nice words, or like I don't know. Somebody mentioned examples right before. Maybe that would be like quick 3, 5, 10 line examples, which we have in a slideshow. That might be the case, but so I'll just recap what we have so far, and then let's vote whether we continue and what are still the questions. So we are, if I understand, nobody's really against that we have Nix, like that we have like two sides of the things. One is about developers, and the other one is about NixOS DevOps, right? So these are our both target groups. The silver line in between is reproducibility and everything and all the outcomes that come out of this. We should show features, which I think this is here is like the question how other websites do it, the features that comes out of this reproducibility. And I don't think we should show 20 of them, but we should select few and point to the page of bigger discussion, like of bigger selection of what Nix can do. I think this is the discussion that we had so far, like really in a short way. Is there anything you think we should discuss? And if yes, then we can.
Yes. I would like to mention that Nix is a good desktop operating system, because I think it is. It is a stable base, and you have really the killer feature to be able to use packages from the unstable channel in a stable base system. That is not easy with any other distro.
I don't think nobody disagrees with that. I think we all agree. The question is this where we want to like position ourselves on the landing page? Like we can mention this on this expanding.
It could be a deep dive into what people are doing with Nix and NixOS.
Exactly.
I think we could have one section where we show different desktops and just one or two lines. Many people in the community use it as desktop operating system. We have many different desktop environments available.
I would agree. I wouldn't put this on the front page. I would definitely not. Not because I don't think Nix does a good job there, but I don't think this is the main audience we want to attract or going for that market. Or at the same time, we are targeting it, but it should not. I think we are not a Linux distribution first. We are about DevOps first. Right? This is where the priorities, and I think this is going to be like some people are not going to be happy about this change, or if we go for it. So I'm not sure.
I would be afraid that desktop users don't find the information that NixOS is a desktop operating system actually, and not only for servers. Maybe some small hint or something, at least.
Yeah, but I mean, the risk is that, we don't want to sell it as an operating system for novices, because to install it requires a fair bit of Linux expertise.
Mm-hmm.
So it's kind of dangerous to position it as a sort of general purpose Linux distribution.
Yes, of course. I think the audience is advanced users and enthusiasts, like people that currently use Arch Linux or Gentoo, that come frequently to NixOS, and where you can really customize the whole system.
Yeah. I mean, one thing I could imagine is that the homepage somewhere has maybe a carousel of showing various applications of Nix and NixOS. Like these are examples of things that people do, like building cross compiling things, or doing EC2 deployments, or running it on their laptop. So That's a way to include it without taking up a lot of screen space.
So it's
finishing
like
up
a feature.
Yeah, finishing up the page with a list of cool things people are doing with NixOS.
Yeah,
Okay.
Something like that.
Okay,
Yes,
that
I
might
made
be
an
a
issue to
compromise.
that. I created an issue for that in the homepage repo to show different use cases of Nix and NixOS that the community has done.
Mhm.
And one could be
it-
desktop.
And it could be nice that these cool things, we have a limited set on the main page, but linked to a more in-depth page. So
Oh yeah.
every cool thing could be indexed there.
Yeah.
Yes.
So these are going to be kind of examples or features, like, you go to a product page and you have features there. Graham, you want to add something?
Yeah, I do think it's important to not alienate those users. But at the same time, I don't think I don't have much interest in being like in the same space as Arch or Gentoo. I think Arch and Gentoo are pretty cool. Like, let's have Linux on a laptop and like hack around some. And my designs and intentions are much more serious than that.
But
So-
can't you do this on NixOS in a
Yeah, you can,
more
for sure.
safe environment?
For sure. And so I think it's like, I do think it works great. Like, I think NixOS works great for that. But I'd want to be careful to make sure that we're not trying to sell it as like a come hack around on your desktop environment. It's more like you could do that, but like it's, you can also deploy it to 10,000 servers in an afternoon.
I think it's worthwhile mentioning why, because now the question would be for either of us: why do we want to put something on the front page? What's the end goal, right? I think we always have to remind ourselves. I already mentioned it in the beginning of this meeting: is Nix in the mainstream, right? Or NixOS in the mainstream, and I don't like people are not so. Sure, the mainstream for a desktop would be Ubuntu. Let's say from the Linux distributions, there are of course others, and the comparison with the DevOps world would be Docker. Right? These are the tools in the mainstream usage, and that's why we are like with either of these we are targeting that space. Or not that space exactly. So we're not trying to replace either of them, but like model our messaging around on the front page. But yeah, why are we doing this? Like, what's more important? Like, this is an awkward question.
Yes, my intent is for people that go to the homepage that they see it can do that, can do that, and it can be a desktop operating system. I think this is a huge part, and many people in our community use it this way. So we should mention many people.
What I'm thinking is that the main focus of the page would be to hook the market, let's say, the people that does dev and DevOps in the first fold. So in the first part of the page, the one that loads on your desktop first, and then the additional cases that would link to a deeper dive into what people are doing with NixOS. So thinking in web speak, before the fold, the main focus, and then later on the page, let's just say also people are doing this.
Yeah, and it's also my impression that most people who use NixOS on their desktop started doing that after they first started using Nix on some other Linux distribution or Mac OS, and they sort of became hooked, and they decided, well, now I want to have my entire system managed in that way. So Nix is the gateway drug, but yeah,
Okay.
it's probably
But
not the
let's say-
starting point.
For that, they need to know that it is possible.
They know. I knew it even like so.
Yeah. I mean, you
started-
shouldn't hide the existence of NixOS on the desktop. I'm just saying it's not something that we sort of emphasize as the main thing on the front page.
If we're thinking, in some maybe a twisted way, that the front page is a fishing hook, what bait do we put there for people that don't really know about Nix and NixOS? I think Dev and DevOps is a proper bait.
I think we can agree on two things already. So I'll try to focus on things we agree upon. There should be on the front page, there should be a way, like even above the fold. So there should be a way that you see how to install Nix and that you know where to go to download page, right? So I think that's important. Like from all the pages I've seen, it's always like they even have an examples like interactive, like I don't know, Haskell. You can just play with Haskell immediately, right? Like they try to get this. They try to go after this. Oh, I want to give it a try. Like okay, here it is. Immediately. You want to learn more? Follow up here, right? I think that's important as well.
Yes. And we can probably agree that we want to focus on developers and DevOps.
Yeah.
And not on desktop. But I would like to mention at least in one sentence that desktop is possible on the front page.
Yeah, I think so. One possible option is so one of the cool things about like that footer with like stacks of links is you could put all sorts of great articles with keywords in there. So like it could be a page on cross compilation and like NixOS on the desktop, NixOS on my cell phone, that sort of stuff. And then they have good keywords, easy to find them if you use like the find behavior. So at a minimum, I think it should be down there at a bare minimum, and quite possibly more.
Okay. I think it's the one thing we must not forget about is that this is something we will be changing a lot in the next year and experimenting. And whatever we put on, it's not going to be there forever. That's why there is also a topic where we will talk about analytics and how do we measure it, whether we put something on there and it's successful. Analytics comes later, or no analytics, or the way how we will measure this. But it's not something that we will do now and it's going to stay. We just need to do it better than it's now. And I think I propose that until next time, we get an example, like the same as we have for governance page. And we then review it with the ideas we just discussed now, and then see whether the pull request fits into the into our discussion now, and then what needs to be added, change in order to be merged. Make sense? I'm trying to kind of not go too deep into the discussion, and maybe split it into the next time a bit, and because it's a bit abstract, right? And yeah. Okay, so this will kind of wrap up the landing page. And I think, David, your point is next. And just read it, what's about, and introduce it.
Yes. My ideas last time was that we maintain a list of project presentations that we like and that could fit our project. And then we can discuss why we like it and how we could copy that to our homepage.
So to recap, this means the pages we like and what we like from them and what we might use it.
Yes.
Okay. Should we, let's maybe read what we currently have and then maybe have the discussion again next time when others can, when everybody can do a research. I think the first page I put it up, which is the first three I put it up, which is rustlang.org. What I liked about it is the tone. I constantly go there and borrow things. So Rust community, thank you. It kind of feels like a community project and it feels production ready. Like I don't have, like, I would like to have the same feeling that I have from after the Rustlang page. So when I visit NixOS, I'd like to have the same feeling. I don't know how to express this.
Yes, yeah, I agree.
Absolutely, yes.
So that's why a lot of times when I'm doing changes, I'm referring to rustlang.org and try to at least come closer. They don't have, though, because they don't need to have a good download page. So the second link that we have in our documents is from OpenSUSE Tumbleweed. So this is one of the things I'd like to do even before we do the 2003 release. And even going with this direction, what we just discussed, that we have focus on the ops part, DevOps part. It would be like, I would really like to have a cloud deployment section where we would definitely mention the, like, to cover 90% of the market, you just need to mention, or even more probably, Amazon images, and just have it a bit more concise and not a table-like. So there is like some drop downs and it gives you the right link. So Amazon, GCE, and so the Google Cloud and Azure. So those three, like, they will be, of course, below the desktop images that we currently have, which is the graphical and the minimal. Or actually, graphical will be actually split now into GNOME and KDE. So I think this is important part that we need to kind of present it in a nice way. So I know that we currently don't do this. We have it there, but it's like you really have to scroll down a lot. And I want to kind of bring it a bit into the same, above the fold, if we use that term.
One note on that table of AMI IDs.
Yeah.
Is that those are actually really, it's really critical for people's security that we publish those IDs. Because if you search the Amazon AMI just database, you'll find a bunch of NixOS AMIs published by other people.
Okay. Yeah. And going into the download page, right? It's really important, and maybe we will not do it this time. The download page, I think it's the end product of a release. So we do a release. I mean, it's a weird way to create a new download page, to update the download page, right? This is the last step. Of course, there are many. I mean, this is the last nice step, but that's where, like, the last thing we do, we should actually change all those links. I think that's really important to kind of be involved also with the release process, but not going there. That should be discussion. A nice example how of the download page is the Tumbleweed download page. If you have any other that you saw where they have like a lot of software, they try to give you in different shape or form, that would be nice to review. And the last one is Chocolatey, which is the .NET package manager. I'm not fond of how, so basically looking at chocolatey.org, I'm not fond of the tone of their messaging, because it's a bit like a bit gamey, like it doesn't give this seriousness there. But what I like about is the content on the front page and how they structure it, even by the order. So the type of the content. So they mention the packages and how much, and you can search right away on the front page the packages. Like just the content there that's there, it kind of inspired me to hopefully we'll get something like this on the NixOS.org.
Yes, it's much better than what we have.
Yeah. Well, we'll start small, right? So these are my 3 ideas. I think, Graham, your idea is next.
I'm sorry, I'm not sure what you're referring to.
The packet page.
Yeah, it's the...
Oh, sure. Yeah, so I think this was just talking about, we were talking about this and I mentioned it as one example, but so it's pretty common for there to be like a pretty sizable, like almost entire sitemap worth of links at the end of a lot of websites. So packet.com has one, docker.com has one, probably Microsoft has one, and it's for that quick searching that I mentioned earlier. Yeah, Microsoft has one too. Because if you put in like pretty much any keyword, it's probably going to show up in that sitemap at the bottom. Anyway, that's all.
Okay, I guess we could. I mean, we currently don't have it, so we said we want it. But
I think we said last meeting we talked about that, and I thought we said we were going to do it.
Yeah. And so there was some discussion about like putting status information in the bottom too. Like in a PR, I think.
I think it was links.
Yeah. And I don't care about that, but there was this one comment I remember reading. I don't remember who said it, but it was like, well, we don't have anything else now, so it'd be weird. I don't think that's really true. I think we can just start.
Okay.
Yeah, and we used to have a footer, so which I think just contained the link to the source code of the homepage and the revision.
Okay. I think this will give us like few ideas. I like actually how I just checked Packet like and Docker and all those. We can definitely borrow something from them. Even looking at the Ruslang, which I always do, has also nice things.
The first easy step is to take the menus that we already have for each section of the site and just explode them in the bottom of the page, and maybe add the status page and a few other things that are not really well linked.
Okay. Definitely. I mean, yes. Just currently the layout is changing, right? Sorry, not the layout. The structure of the page is changing because all the pages that we have for 2 projects are now becoming 1. So maybe we just wait a bit with the footer until we actually create it. That makes sense? Okay. This is yes. David, yours is the last one.
It's a website from the Brew package manager. I like that they have the commands to do basic things, install a package, deinstall a package, update a package. So you know how to use it before you install it. And I think that's nice.
Yeah, I agree. This is nice. Just not sure how to do it with everything else we discussed on the landing page.
Yes.
But maybe there should be, maybe not in the top of the page, but somewhere below.
Maybe 3 or 5 commands to do basic things.
Yeah. And then search the packages link. I think something similar Chocolatey does as well.
Yes.
Okay. Let's see where we go with this, because I would just like to do the landing page a bit better than now, and move from there. Like, we'll probably upset. I'm already going to say I'm sorry to those who we are going to upset. think of it as we are on the way to a really good, awesome website, and we need to do a few mistakes on the line, on the way going there. I kind of this. Is anybody else has any other idea about the things we like on other website pages, websites?
We can keep collecting them, and
Yeah, like you said,
That's
next
better.
time we're going to explore the others.
Okay, so this could be like a recurring theme of discussion. If somebody finds it, let's discuss the idea. Okay, there is a action item from last time. I think it was all resolved, which is for the showing the merchandise on the front page, or not on the front page, on the NixOS.org. I think it's coming. It's even nicely reported inside this course. So Mogorman, that's his nickname. Thank you for doing this. I think I hope maybe we should invite him at one point to also join the marketing team, especially because if we're doing the more marketing efforts around the releases and stuff, it might be nice to also have like a merch surrounding the release. I think he's already doing this right, but just if we can help him or vice versa. Where the link will go, I was thinking under community, which is not there yet, page. So we currently will have governance, and there will be a community page where we will list the events, the meetups, the merchandise, where you can get like in contact with help, like the discourse, Stack Overflow, like things like that. Would that be okay?
yes.
For at least for the start, and then we see if we need to put it, if we need more money for our S3 bill.
One thing about the
sorry.
stickers,
Yeah,
is it's just his personal Redbubble shop.
Yeah.
Maybe he could open up. I just messaged him on IRC, but maybe we should ask him to like start one that's actually like NixOS specific.
I think this is like, for now I would just include it because it's better than nothing, like just as a initial part, and then let's invite him and see how we can do this better.
Yeah.
I think this is like small steps. I agree we could do much better, but I think he also would agree that we can step up the game there as well.
Yeah, I'm just not sure because there's like stickers in there about something called shrimps.
Yeah. I think he, in the pull request that he opened about this, he mentioned that this is his, like, there are 2-3 his personal stuff, so I think he's okay to remove them. Yeah.
Yes.
Sure. Okay. I'll ask him if he wants to join, or if you're listening, please join. Ping us. Samuel, your topic is next.
First unmute. Okay, it's not really a big thing. It's more about something we should do, and
Okay.
it is to list every URLs we had before the migration to Netlify, verify that they still point to something, if they should point to something, like let's say we had the ILCO ILCO stuff that was moved. That's all right. I don't know what else is missing. I think there's the mailing list archives.
Mailing list.
There may be the older IRC logs. These could be moved into the existing logger if desired.
Mm-hmm.
And just having a real list of everything that we lost and decide what is going to happen next. So not really to discuss now, but something to do.
Maybe let's open the ticket with this, I think, and discuss it there, because this can be done not on the call. I think it's let's do it, but let's discuss the details and everything in the ticket. Thanks. David, you're next.
Yes, then came the point which we already have discussed.
Okay.
How on what audience we want to focus.
I see the audience. Okay, maybe just skip to the next one, which you also.
That's a related issue. I would like have in the documentation website some tutorials for specific audiences, like NixOS for desktop, NixOS as desktop operating system, where we explain what it can do for desktop users, and Nix for reproducible science, for example. That seems to be needed as such a tool, and I think Nix could help there. And we can explain how they could pin to a Nix package version and get the same tools and stuff. And for example, NixOS for gamers, where we document how to set up Steam, how to set up VR, which actually works, and which games we have packaged. And that are topics that are currently in the NixOS wiki, and I think we could present them in a more professional way inside the documentation as tutorials.
I'm here just, yes, that would be nice to have, but there are like, who's going to write all of this? You know, I'm just trying to be a bit more realistic, because currently, even for all, like we need, there is no getting started for Nix even, right? Like this is a step too far for me already. I do think it's a good idea, and if there is, let's include the links. But I would not see it as a priority until we have a getting started for Nix and getting started for NixOS. And what I mean by getting started is like a 5-page tutorial where it kind of shows you in an example and not in a reference manual like way. Both are needed, right? But just for different audiences.
Yes, that was just an idea, and I want to get some feedback. So we can agree that we would accept a PR for such a page.
Yeah, I would assume that we can expand our learn.html page with tutorials, which are targeted for more beginners. And of course, we'll actually put them even probably higher, because the learning page is for beginners. Yeah, go ahead.
We're at 60 minutes.
Yeah.
The recording could run out of space any minute.
Okay. We have only one topic to discuss, so we can wrap this up and continue next time. About tutorials, it's a bit longer one, and we anyway don't have the content. And the last topic we will need to discuss will probably is just the analytics, or no analytics, or how do we actually do this?
So I actually just started paying for Netlify to try out their analytics, which doesn't require a cookie ban or anything. So I'd be happy to share those results.
Okay. Do you have them now, or we maybe do them next time?
Maybe next time. I just started paying for it like this morning, so.
Yeah. But can you just mention how it works, just so for others they don't know?
Yep. So I clicked enable analytics. I typed my credit card number, and it said analytics are enabled. And I assume it's all based on access logs.
Okay, so something like Go Access that you usually use on your server if you have it.
Yeah, but they don't give you the logs. They just.
But you enabled it on what?
On one of my websites.
Okay, fine. I mean, we could just turn it on for NixOS.org because I think it's only $9 per month or so. So
Yeah, that's true.
it's not
We might
going
as
to
well.
bankrupt us.
Just it's not about bankruptcy. Is this something that we are allowed to do? I'm just going to the last time discussion where would this be something that we would be comfortable telling everybody that we're doing?
Collecting page views?
Collecting page views.
The old server also had an access log, so I don't think it's worse.
I believe.
Yeah, sorry.
David?
No, you go because you started. I had a question.
I think the line lies whether we are tracking individuals or not. And if there's no cookies, I don't think there's going to be much tracking. So maybe that's what makes the decision easier.
Okay.
Yeah, I can have a look at whether they track PII. And if not, I can just enable it.
Okay.
So looking at what I have some bandwidth, sources, top pages, where people are from, unique visitors, and page count. Pretty basic stuff.
Does it also show 404s, some pages that don't exist?
Top resources not found. It does.
Oh, okay. That helps with the URL inventory.
Yeah,
exactly.
Right now, I'm desperately in need of a favicon.
Yeah, I have to have
we
it.
all are. David, you wanted to say something as well.
For the we might need to not to save the complete IP of the visitors, or we need a privacy section or something on the website.
That's what I meant with PII, personally identifying information. So I have to check what their analytics actually keep track of.
Yes.
Okay. I think it would be in any way. Well, this goes back into the discussion to the footer. We need a footer.
I mean, so I think the one thing about this though is it doesn't tell us any IPs. So like whatever data they're it's pretty clear to me that they're storing this data already. They're just not giving it to us because we're not paying them. So I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm really not worried about it. They're a successful company and like they would probably have GDPR stuff on lockdown just fine already.
We might want to read their privacy policy.
Yeah, it can't hurt. That's true.
Yeah. Okay. Reading privacy policy, seeing what they collect, and if possible, we can enable them. We can enable it, right? I think we do not want to have any GDPR pop-outs on the website. That we already made clear. So if somebody's listening, there's gonna be no I agree buttons. One thing I find it interesting that you mentioned, David, is maybe not for the website itself, but to collecting on a documentation tutorial to collect more deep feedback. So if somebody goes through tutorial, tell them like we want to improve it, make it better for the next person, and just answer these 5 questions. Or something like this, or just yes and no. Was this resource useful? I would find this valuable, especially.
Just very simple. Was this helpful, or does it solve your problem? Yes, no. If no, give a short feedback.
Yeah. I would even say it can be even going further, right? Like there can be even 5 questions about what you just learned. What was easy? What was not easy? This all goes to the person who actually writes that tutorial. What feedback do you want, right? And I think we should be not allowing, but I think this would be actually beneficial for that we can improve constantly the tutorials. Right.
5 questions might be too much, and people don't send it. So they should be optional. at least.
That's gonna be a big ball of wax. I don't mean to rush us out, but shall we?
Yeah. What? So sorry, I might not understand.
Shall we end the call?
Yeah, to conclude. Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
I think we're okay. Thanks everybody. We'll continue with more of this next time in 2 weeks.
Cool.
Minutes will show up are somewhere in this course. And yeah, get in touch with all of us. We didn't introduce this time, but we introduced ourselves in the meeting 1. So thank you.
Thanks, Rock.
Thank you.
David. Sandy,
See you later.
welcome. See ya.